Hey guys, welcome back. So glad to have you here today. As you can see, today is not a chill sesh video. Today we are doing a stream where I'm going to be interviewing another amputee, try and spread some awareness about limb loss and, use my platform so other people can share their stories. So hopefully other people going through this can find it and it might help them in some way. And also to just, tell you normies what it's like living in our shoe. But anyway, let's see who we have in here. We have James, of course, always here. Can always count on you, James. Appreciate you. We got my E-mom in the house, Mrs. T. We got Mel in here trolling, as always. Hey, holy. Oh, there's my dad, my E-dad. All right, and now I'm going to bring up my interviewee, Mr. HarLeeDad.
Hey. What's going on?
Hi. Yeah, thank you so much, Dad.
Oh, Mr. Amped in the house as well. There's Monica. What's up, Monica?
My lovely husband. Hi, babe. Hi, Monica. Good to see you. Just going to give everybody a couple minutes to get in here before we get started.
Hello, Christy.
So what I'm going to do here is... I mean, we can time him out. It's kind of like throwing him backstage. So yeah, what we're going to do, once we get started, I'm going to ask Harley my set of questions that I have for him. And then I'm going to open it up to you guys, because I want you guys to be able to ask any kind of questions that you might have that, maybe you're scared, maybe I shouldn't ask this, now's your chance. If you want to ask Harley a specific question about his journey, or if you want to ask me a question, we're going to do all that here at the end.
As long as it's about the amputation there, Mando.
Yeah.
No private questions
Mando.
in public like this, Mando. Somebody said I sounded a little low.
Oh, I don't know. You sound okay to me.
Machinist, you don't put that thought in my head that you're going to be a hot tub while you're listening to me talk?
Oh, well, thank you for watching. Have a nice, relaxing time. Yep, what Mr. Amp says. Oh, is it low for you too? All right, let's see. Edit mic settings.
I think it was Mrs. T and Mr. Vic that
there we
said
go.
That was low, so maybe it's on there.
How's that, you guys? Is that good?
Hello. Testing.
Better now? Okay, awesome.
Chris that said it. It's better now. There we go.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I was trying to edit it myself, but it wouldn't let me.
Huh.
It was kind of weird.
Are you logged in?
Well, I mean, it just... Oh, no, I didn't.
That's why.
Actually, yeah, I am on yours. Because, I can highlight comments. What it was is it doesn't, because of the screen, it gives me the... I couldn't get down to the mic settings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. As long as it sounds good to everybody else, now we're good. Yeah, we got 19 people in here. What's up, y'all? RH, welcome.
Oh, yeah, always RH. I hope you're okay. Whatever you're needing prayers for, everybody send some positive vibes to RH. Hey, Wiggs.
Uh-oh. Mr. Wiggs is here. Now we're in trouble.
Thanks
Wiggs
for coming.
and Mando met each other yet? That could be interesting.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Wiggs don't mind Mel. melanistic Mandalorian. We call him Melman, or Mando. He's our lovable troll. Aw, thanks, Mom.
Yes, everybody make sure you hit the like button,
Aw.
although it's in 18 likes, 17 in here right now, so that's not too bad at all.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are great.
Oh, and there's Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
I knew she wasn't going to miss this one.
I've been thinking about you. I was going to reach out to you after this if I didn't see you. So I'm glad you're here. Hey, Dozer.
What's up, Dozer?
All right. Well, I think people have filed in now, so we can get going. So first off, just for people that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, how old are you? Where are you from? All that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So, my name is HarLeeDad. Obviously not my real name, but y'all don't even know that yet. I'm 39. I was originally born in California, lived in Oregon the majority of my life. My father, obviously dad, got 2 children, been married for almost 12 years. Lived in Germany for 6 years. My dad was in the army, which is kind of fun.
That's really cool.
I was pretty young though, so I don't remember a ton of it. I remember enough of it, but I don't remember as much as like if I'd gone when I was 12 or something. But yeah.
How much of the language do you still know?
Few cuss words. That's about it.
That's great.
It's pretty standard. but yeah, that's my age. That's just in my family. Like I said, I still technically I don't live in Oregon, but I do because I live right on the border and I work in Oregon. So.
Right.
On the northern border now. So.
Okay.
Yeah. It's cold as shit here tonight, so I do apologize for if I shiver, although I do have my heater going, so we'll see. But.
You're all good. Although, like I said, I'm very envious. It's so freaking hot here.
Yeah. Well, or not this time, but when the season switches. Hold on 1 second.
Yep. And check in on the chat.
Sorry, we had the kids go stay at a friend's house today when we went and did some stuff, and then when my wife went to go pick up the kids, the daughter wanted to stay longer, so she just went to go pick the daughter back up, and I was like, make sure you tell her I'll be busy when you get back. And first thing my daughter does, she running in the front door, running out the back door to me. So no.
Oh, that's fine. Family always comes first. Totally fine.
Yeah. Much as annoying as they are, I do love them for some reason, but kind of got to.
So, one of my first questions about the whole amputation. Today is a special day, is it not?
Today is the 1-year anniversary of the day I lost my leg. Yes.
Yeah, and you're doing awesome, man. You're killing it. Like, you're doing great for where you're at. As someone who's been there a couple years right before you, you're killing it. I'm super proud of you.
I appreciate that, but I'm just doing what I need to do. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's. I think we get that a lot. That people tell us that we're inspirational, and I can understand that where they're coming from.
I can understand it, but I hate that word.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of
towards me. I mean,
yeah. But it's like I said, we can understand where y'all are coming from with that whole inspirational thing, but and for certain things, I feel like it's valid. Like a Harley lifting weights. Like, what are you up to now, or what's your record with your post amputation?
Leg press of 850 pounds.
850. Like, that is impressive. Like, even for somebody who is able-bodied, that is impressive. So, like, and the fact that you're only a year in, like, that, and I feel like that's something that people should be impressed by and compliment you on. But, like, to just simply
Well,
exist post amputation, I don't know if that's, necessarily inspirational. But I do believe
so
that
to
your outlook is very inspirational, though.
well, to piggyback again, and I hate to do it, but I am proud of it myself, is the fact that it's been 1 year since my amputation, but it's only been 6 months and a week since I got my leg.
Right.
So that 850 is from 6 months ago. Well, I mean, obviously it was before I lost it, but if I don't know how to verbalize it to make it make sense, but I think you understand the fact that I spent 6 months on a walker. Like I
Right.
haven't had a fake leg for a year. I've had it for 6 months, and so to be up to 850 in 6 months. Again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn because I hate friggin' sound like I'm bragging or anything. But when I hit that 850, like that was a big accomplishment for me. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this." I know I shouldn't be doing it, but I wanted to see if I could, and I was able to do it. So to me, it's a big thing to because that was when I was working out before I lost my leg, I wasn't anywhere near 850. I was near 850 when I was in high school, but then I was on the football team. I was young and strong, blah, 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 blah. But my pre-ampute record was, I want to say 560, 550, somewhere around there, and that was just me not even really trying. That was just me getting the reps in at that point. And so that's why I wanted to push myself just to see how I could do. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and you did ask your prosthetist before, so.
Well, yeah, I asked before I did 850. I did not ask before I did 8, but I did ask before I did 850. And technically, again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but that's 850 weight I put on the machine. That's not including the weight of the machine, which I don't know the weight of the machine, so I just say it's 850 because I don't know.
Right.
So it's probably closer to 9 because the machine's probably 50 at least.
Yeah, no, like I said, that would be impressive. Even as an able-bodied person, that's impressive. But the fact, like you said, it's a process, and that's something I don't think people understand. Is like post amputation, like you have to wait for it to heal, obviously, and that takes time. Especially if people who have a hard time healing, like diabetics and stuff.
Yep. Well, because technically, and I think we'll get into it later on in your other question, but technically I had 2 surgeries. So yeah. But to answer Dozer real quick, yes, I'm 39 Dozer.
Yeah. Sorry. No, you're doing great. So yeah, tell us about that. Your more than one amputation.
So the what started the entire thing was I went and did some yard work. I know a lot of people have heard this a lot, but there's new people that probably might not have. I went and did some yard work for a friend to help her clear out some blackberry bushes. Took my son with me. We did a lot of work that day. We cleared out a ton of blackberry bushes and worked our butts off. And hold on one second. Sorry about that. That's my wife's cup of coffee. She's getting in the freezer. Went and did some yard work for a friend and helped her out quite a bit. Got home that night. This was on a Sunday. Got home that night, just was wearing my clothes, whatever, like normal. I didn't change. I didn't go take a shower because I always took a shower before bed, so no point changing. And then when I went to go take my shower to go to bed, all right, shoe off, no problem. Took my left shoe off, and it kind of like I caught, and I was like, that's freaking weird. And so I went to I noticed that there was a hole in the bottom of my shoe, and I looked down, and there's a nail sticking up between these 2 toes. So it was in between them, but it nicked this one just enough that this was on Sunday. By Wednesday, I was admitted to the hospital at the ER, and they were going to do an amputation. I'm like, okay, that freaking sucks, but it's a toe, whatever, no big deal. And that was in September of last year, of 2022. And then so they did the amputation, took time off work. I took 2 months off just because, I was supposed to stay off as much as I could, and I did. And, and then I developed a lesion on the bottom of my pinky side of my on that same foot. I developed a lesion there. What the infection that they thought they'd gotten all of, apparently they hadn't. Is the theory, because there's no way to prove it. It's just then that got infected. The new lesion got infected. Well, I'd already had the 2 months off of work, which was more than all of my vacation time. We had a bunch of stuff going on. We had to go back. While I was out for the tow, let me go back. While I was out for the tow, my truck had gotten stolen. Well, our trucks were financed to a car lot back home in Southern Oregon. So we did all the insurance, all that stuff, and then got the payout, and we had to go back home to refinance the wife's car without the truck on it, you know. And we had that trip coming up. We had all this stuff going on, and I didn't have any more time off work. And I'm like, it'll be fine. We'll just go, and then I'll get it looked at afterwards. While we were in Southern Oregon, we had gone over to my sister-in-law's after we'd done all the financing and stuff. We were on our way back home, and I had terrible, terrible chills. Like, I couldn't even get out of the car and go inside. I had her leave the car on, crank the heat up. I wrapped myself in a blanket, and I just sat there and shivered. That finally passed, and so I told her, you know, when she came back out and stuff, because I mean, she was coming out to check on me. Don't get me wrong; it's not like she just left me in the car shivering or anything like that. But kept telling her, "I'm fine, go away, I'm fine," and it finally stopped. They came back out, and so we can come home. And I told her about it. She's like, as soon as we get back home, we go to the fucking doctors. I was like, yeah, probably not a bad idea. So got back home. I got back home real late at night, so I told her, I was like, hey, I'll go in tomorrow morning. She's like, well, I think you should go now, but if you want to wait till the morning, that's on you. And I was like, I'll wait. So by waiting till the morning, I meant I was going to go to work all day and then go after I got off work, which is what I did. So I drove home from work, got home, and then I was like, okay, we go to the hospital. And so we went to the hospital. She dropped me off because, you know, so don't want to have the kids in the ER and all this stuff. So she went to go get the kids some dinner, and they did their admittance process and all this stuff. And I called her, I was like, hey, they're admitting me. And she's like, okay, I figured they would. As a guy, I did too. And so they admitted me, and I had to spend the night. And the next morning, the doctor came in. He's like, yeah, we have to do a below the knee amputation. And I was flabbergasted because I thought at worst I was going to lose like a half a foot because I didn't know anything. You know, I'm like, oh, it's really going to suck. It's going to take a lot to get used to. Like below the knee amputation. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we're going to take below the knee. And I ain't going to lie, I fucking cried because I'm like, are you? Because in my mind, I'm losing a half a foot. I could live with a half a foot, you know. And he explained to me the fact that the technology for a half a foot amputation versus the below the knee is a million times better than half a foot. They don't have the technology to have people live a normal life at that point.
Right.
Normal life. But and so then I called her. And, well, I mean, she was going to come see me anyway. And so when she showed up, I told her what was going on. And we both cried about it for a bit. Then after that, I was kind of like, okay, well, what do we do now? How do we do this? And my big thing was the fact that I'm going to lose my job. You know, I'm sole provider for my family, and I make really good money. And I'm like, well, there goes, you know, fucking 10. Well, at this point, 11 years of my life gone because that's how long I'd worked for the company. So I told her, I was like, hey, you need to get hold of my boss and let her know what's going on. And so she got a hold of my boss, and she goes back in. She's like, hey, your boss says that get well as soon as possible, and they'll be there waiting for you when you get done. And I was like, that was instantly a huge weight off of my chest. Because, you know, I'm like, what am I going to do? Go work at McDonald's? I mean, yeah, I can go back to being a mechanic, but how long until I can walk again? And it's, you know, just all this shit. So, but yeah, so a lot of it, and y'all criticize me if you want, I don't care, was me being a dumb man. In a way. It's not that bad. It's fine. It's fine. I got no more paid time off. I can't afford time off work. Oh, no, we got to go do this. So a lot of it is that. But now, with the way things are, I told my wife, if she stubs her toe, I'm going to go to the hospital just to make sure I'm okay. So. But.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I don't think anybody
didn't know the actual story of what happened.
I don't think anybody should criticize you for that because I think we've all been guilty of that at one time or another. either if you're scared of it or you're just, like you're, like you said, you're the sole, money earner in your home, you're the breadwinner. You got to take care of your family and you got to do what you got to do. So you were kind of putting that before your health, and a lot of people do that, and I get it, but you can't do that. It's kind of like when the plane is going to crash, they tell you to put your mask on first before you help somebody else. You got to look
Yep.
out for you. But
Yeah.
hopefully that's something you've learned from that whole
Oh,
experience.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But touching back to the second surgery thing, so did the first surgery. I was in there, I want to say it was 8 days. So I was in the hospital twice. One was 5 days, one was 8. I want to say the first one was 8, but got out. And of course, the day I was released was the day that we had a huge ice and snowstorm here. So I'm on a walker,
Jeez.
So the good thing, touching back to the walker real quick, is the fact that I was already, because of the toe amputation, I was already well versed in using a walker. So like I gave my nurses hell when I was in there, and I do apologize. And they're lovely, lovely people. But like they turned the bed alarm on. I figured out how to turn it off because I'm like, I don't need to be babysat. And they're like, no, and all this stuff. They didn't realize I'd been on a walker for a month and a half before this. So
Right.
they, come in and I'm out of bed having turned my bed alarm off, doing bar dips on my walker, and they're like, what the fuck are you? But I did, when I got out of the hospital for the amputation, the leg amputation, I knew how to use a walker, so I wasn't that worried about it. However, I never used a walker on a skating rink like it was everywhere throughout the city of Portland and Vancouver. And so I did just fine. We went over to a friend's house to celebrate me getting out and stuff, and ended up leaving over there too late and stuff. And so it was like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I had passed out. And so when I woke up, I was like, oh, I want to go home. And so we go to leave, and I slipped. Luckily, my wife was there and was able to actually move it to where I didn't land on the stump. I landed on my butt, which was great.
Oh, yeah.
But she had to go back inside and get the people that live there to wake up to come help me get me up because she couldn't get me up. She's 5'3", I'm 6'3", and
right.
So that was fun. She still gives me shit to this day. But anyway, so I was released and did everything I was supposed to do, and I was taking my meds and my antibiotics, and it was draining and didn't seem right to me. I was going to the doctor, and the weird thing was it was a month. The first appointment was a month out, which I thought was kind of weird, and so did my wife. But went in, he's like, yeah, it's still, it's on track, but it's not looking the best, but it's not looking terrible. So, come see me again in 2 weeks. And it wasn't healing the way it was supposed to. So finally I go in, this is, let's say 2.5, maybe 3 months after the initial surgery. And he's like, so yeah, you're right. Something's definitely not right. I was like, great. I was like, what do we do about it? He's like, what we're going to do is we're going to do another surgery. And I'm thinking, oh crap, they're going to take more of my leg, which they did. But what they ended up doing was they cut the incisions open. Sorry if I get graphic or gory for anybody. They cut the incisions open, pulled all of them out and stuff. And then they took another, just like a 16th or an eighth of an inch of bone. What they do with that is they send it out to a lab, and the lab grinds it up. And they cultivate it to see. I don't think cultivate is the right word. Culture it. So they do cultures and stuff on it, but then they see what grows on it. So this way they can figure out what type of infection they're working with. So they had me, and that second surgery, I think it was the time I was in there for 5 days because we were waiting to hear back what it was, so they knew how to treat it. Well, it turns out it was antibiotic resistant E. coli. So a pretty bad thing. So then they were like, okay, we know what to throw at it now. So they started throwing the right antibiotics at it, and it started to get way better. I'm like, all right, cool, finally, thankfully. But my stitches came out every 2 weeks. I would get like 2 or 3 stitches out, and then I go back in 2 weeks and 2 or 3 stitches out because it was just taking so long to heal.
Yeah.
Finally got it to where I got all the stitches out, and I'm like, all right, cool, I can get my leg now. And they're like, that's not quite how this works. Like, you still have to wait and let your leg heal more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, I'm ready to go, Because at this point, I'm not a sit around type of guy. got to get up and go do stuff. I got to go, I
Right.
hate being at home. I mean, I love being at home, but I hate being at home. Like, I'd
Yeah.
much rather even just go for a drive on a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday all day and be gone all day, just driving around doing nothing but wasting gas. That's
Mm,
just who I am.
yeah.
And so this whole thing was killing me, and I'm up and I'm down and I'm up and I'm down, and just, I just getting so bored sitting around not doing anything. Like, it got to the point that, like, my wife would be like, all right, well, we need to go shopping. I'm like, all right, let's go. So, what do you mean, let's go? I'm like, let's go. And so it got to the point where we would park, and I would, she or one of the kids would get the walker out, set it up, and I'd hop out to the walker, and I'd get on the walker and walk myself all the way to the front of the store. And then I would get on a scooter, because I learned the first time that I needed a scooter, because walking through a Fred Meyer or a Walmart or a Winco on a walker is a lot
Hmm.
of fucking work. A
Yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you have to use like different muscles and stuff than what you
Yeah.
normally would to normally walk. Like, did they have
Well,
you
yeah, and
doing any kind of? Did they have you doing any kind of like physical therapy or anything?
so that's the thing I was going to talk to you about, because I know that you've mentioned physical therapy a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah. No. Yeah.
no, they didn't, because of the fact that, because I'd already spent the month and a half, almost 2 months on the walker previously, I knew how to
Man,
use
that's
it. So when physical therapy came to verify that I could use a walker and to see what help I needed, I did it so good that they were like, he's good.
that's
And it
nuts, man.
probably was pride on my part that was like, yeah, I'm good. I got this. And, again, being a prideful, dumb man. But
Yeah.
I still did it. I still made it work. I never want, like, it got to the point towards the end before I got my leg that I was taking my walker out to the car, loading the walker and myself in the car, and going to the store by myself. Like, because I'd gotten so good and so used to it. And, being a big, strong guy, it helps. If I was a 70, 80-year-old man that, was degenerating, like, obviously there would be a lot more issues with that then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No. They I'll get into all the details about my story in another time. But yeah, I was in the hospital for months. Because I got like months worth of physical rehab where they taught me that you're going to use these muscles more because you're going to walk differently, and they had us using those airbags that I showed you before we even used prosthetics. I was in the pool. They had a pool at the hospital, and they had me go in there several times and just like working out different muscle groups and stuff. Yeah, so it's just wild, the difference in care.
Yeah.
So did you ever use
Well,
like crutches or anything, or just the walker?
they asked me if I wanted to use crutches. Crutches are my nemesis. I hate crutches. I've had to
I
try to
Yeah.
use them when I tore my ACL and stuff. No, I'm good.
Yes, I'm the same way. I hate crutches. I hate them so much. I had a fall before my surgery, and I landed on my bad leg, and it was awful. So yeah,
So,
I don't do
so
crutches either.
I did have a couple of falls after my surgery from being stupid. Two of
Yeah,
them I landed
that's another
on
one
the
of my
stump.
questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did have two fall. Well, I had 3 falls total. Well, 4, I guess, total, but only 2 on the stump. And so the first fall I talked about was the day I got out of the hospital. And I didn't land on the stump, so it wasn't that big of a deal. The second time I fell was I stood up too soon or too fast from my chair, and I missed the left side of the walker, which is the left leg, and so I went up and I went down and hit it. And then the other one that actually landed on the stump was I was going to bed, and I was pretty good, pretty stable for the most part on the right foot at this time, and I was getting ready for
Mhm.
bed, and I'm standing on the side of the bed, and I took like a little tiny little hop backwards, and I had forgotten that I'd just taken my slipper off when it was right there. And
Uh-huh.
so I tripped on the slipper, fell back into my closet door, and fell down. Well, of
Oh
course, when you
no.
fall down and you're missing something to support you, you go that way. And so, luckily,
Yeah.
it didn't seem. I mean, it did some internal bruising, but not like it didn't rip
Mm.
stitches or any of that stuff. It did
Yeah, that's
probably prolong healing a little bit, but
yeah.
not like super, super, super bad. So, but
Yeah. I
and
imagine
then
it
the other
I
time I fell was just fell backwards. So
I imagine it shook you up though. I know it does me. Like it's different when you fall and you're missing parts.
it really is, and it took me so long to get used to the fact that like you know, I sleep on the left side of the bed. Well, if you're standing and looking at the bed, anyway, if you're laying in bed, it's the left side of the bed, and my left is what's missing. So you get up out of bed and you swing your legs down, and you go stand up immediately. Well,
Yep.
at least I used to, and it would be like, oh no, and I would catch myself at the last second and not quite shove off because it's like, oh, hold on a minute, oh yeah, I got to grab this
Yep.
thing. And the funny thing about that was when I got my leg and was finally able to walk on my own, because I would to come smoke, I would walk out to we have a sliding glass door right here. I would turn around and I'd back up the walker to the edge of the door frame, slide the door open, hop out, grab a freezer that we have sitting right here. It's a tall freezer right here, and I'd lean on that. And then I'd, open the door and grab my walker and hop over the little lift. It was, I don't know, 2.5, 3 months after I got my leg before I stopped turning around to grab my walker after I opened the door. So it's amazing the memory that happens, like, and you
Yeah.
build the muscle memory and stuff. And it because I spent 37 and a half years with a leg, and it took
Right?
me I don't know 3 weeks to get used to having a walker. But then it
Yeah.
took me 2 to 3 months to get used to not having a walker again. Like, it's weird how that stuff happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's very common for people to fall post surgery because, everybody wakes up in the middle of the night and you have to go pee. Like that happens to everyone, including new amputees. So like you wake up in the middle of the night and you forget. Like when it's fresh, you
Yeah.
you forget like that's not there anymore. So like lots of people when I was in the hospital would fall because, they wake up in the middle of the night and forget. Um
Yeah.
so yeah, it's crazy. Very
Well, that
crazy.
was like they sent the little this might be TMI, the little urinal that you have at the bedside for a male. They sent one home with me from the hospital. Thankfully, I've never used it to this day, but it's still hanging on my headboard just in case, because I'd much
Yeah.
rather have to use that, which thankfully I never have had. And now I'm at the point where I don't need the walker to get up and go to the bathroom, and I don't need to waste time to put my leg on. I can literally get up and hop to the bathroom because we live in
Oh,
kind of a small apartment, so I've got plenty of things to hold on to, walls and doors along the way. That's not a big deal.
yeah, yeah.
So I just do that now. I just get up if I gotta go, then I just hop my ass to the bathroom and come back in. So of course you would, Mando. Sorry guys, I haven't been reading comments or anything.
Yeah, yeah, and we will get to all your questions here at the end, guys. I promise.
When we say all your
um,
questions, we're gonna try to get to as many as possible.
yeah, yeah. So let's see. Here we go. What about phantom pains and sensations? I know this is something that a lot of people have heard of or seen in movies and TV and stuff, and they might be curious about. So, yeah, what's your experience with phantom pains or phantom sensations?
So I experience phantom sensations every day since the day they cut it off. The one of the worst ones was the fact that for the first, I want to say about 3.5 months after they cut it off, I had a cramp in my foot that I no longer had, and it drove
Mm,
me nuts
yeah,
all day, every
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Even now, I do get phantom pains, like, and I do have phantom sensations, which is good because like this is I'm one of the, well, I don't know the ratio exactly, but I've been told it's kind of rare the fact that when I walk, I can feel my foot. And by that, I mean I can feel my foot flexing as I take a step.
Okay.
I don't know how it works, but I can, which is, I've been told,
Huh.
is one of the reasons why I walk as well as I do. Because
Yeah.
people that can do that generally walk better, quicker than people
Uh-huh.
that can't feel it.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
does
that
work
makes
out in my
sense.
favor. However, I'm sure most, if not all of you, see me sitting here on a panel and just be like, oh, fuck, and I have to adjust real quick. Well, that's because I got a cramp in the foot or the ankle that doesn't exist. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, 'cause it does happen quite often. But it's a blessing and a curse to be able to feel it. Like, I love the fact that I can walk as good as I do. But again, there's just times when, like, even when I'm driving at work and I'm like, fucking, oh shit, I feel one. Oh, yep, there's a fucking cramp that there's no cramp. I mean, yes, you know, the majority of, well, all of the nerves are still there to a point, but
Mm-hmm.
the brain has trouble. The way it was explained to me, the brain has trouble rewiring itself to know that yes, the nerves are there, but they only go so far now versus the entire way. So that
Right.
cramp that you feel, again, the way it was explained to me, I'm not a doctor. The cramp that
Mm-hmm.
you feel that's in the bottom of your foot is actually at the cutoff of where your leg is. But that nerve thinks it still keeps going, and that's where the cramp should be. But
Yeah.
it's actually at the spot where the nerve ends. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I have heard of mirror therapy, and I am going to look into it at some point. But I also don't want to lose the feeling in my foot, if that makes sense. Like, that's what's
Yeah.
making me walk as
Especially.
good as I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're not experiencing a lot of phantom pains.
Well,
Yeah.
I
And
do
that
get
that
pains
makes
and cramps, but it's getting more manageable. It's, you know,
sense.
I hate to say it, but I've lived a good majority of my life in pain. Not just from this, but I've had 3 rotator
Mm-hmm.
cuff surgeries. I've got a
Mm.
screw in my right foot. I spent 9 months in a boot and on a knee scooter for my right foot. And it's pain
Mm.
sucks, but it's part of my life at this point. So
Yeah. Um, okay. What would you say has been the most challenging aspect for you so far? Like, what was the biggest hurdle for you?
honestly, the biggest hurdle for me, I mean, yeah, it's a big thing to lose any part of your body, any limb, anything like that, anything that makes you different than the way you were. But hold on a second.
Oh, Harley.
The hardest part for me was my kids seeing the look on my kids' face
Hmm.
when they realized what happened.
Yeah. Man, but to see the look on their face when they look at you now, like to see the
Yeah,
pride in their eyes, I bet that's one hell of a feeling.
yeah, that's yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a huge life changing thing. No matter who
Yeah.
you are, if you have kids or not, or if you're married or you have no friends, have all the friends. It's a
Yep.
huge life changing thing. Whether it's your foot or your a finger or your
Yeah.
arm, your hand, whatever. It changes your life no matter what. Your life will never be the same as it was.
Yeah, it's part of
So
you.
it becomes a part of you, and
Literally.
there's no reversing it. I mean, maybe in fucking 100 years they might be able to regrow it, but not in my lifetime, not in your lifetime.
Yeah.
And so it definitely changes your life and gives a different perspective to your
Yeah.
life. Like, so my thing was, no, this isn't going to define me because yeah, it fucking sucks, but I'm going to keep going. And it was also, this is a very good chance to show my kids, don't let nothing fucking stop you.
Yep.
Nothing. There's nothing that can happen to you short of dying that can stop you. It's, yeah, life sucks. You got to embrace the suck sometimes. You got to make adjustments. Shit happens. You have to keep living your life. You have to keep doing what you have to do to provide for your family, your loved ones, you know.
Yep.
And I think that's a great lesson to teach anybody, let alone your own children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they've seen just how resilient their father is. Um and yeah, that's 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 really touching.
Exactly, Holy. Keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
As my wife is in the background yelling at my children that are whining.
I mean, kids will be kids, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much the end of my questions that I had for you. So now we can open up. Uh, last 10 or 20 minutes
I
here.
think I did just open up. Oh wait, sorry.
I do appreciate that too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you all teared up and
I will just
stuff.
say that I've been on YouTube for a little over a year now, and you're the first one that's ever pretty much closely got me close enough to crying. So
Oh, Harley.
it's all good.
Well, I'm so
That's what we're here
glad
for,
that
showing real
yeah,
emotions and the real parts of
yeah,
life.
yeah. I'm so glad and grateful that you feel comfortable enough around me to do that, and I hope that it helps somebody out there that's going through something similar. Um, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not over.
It's
You're
not.
gonna find your new normal, you know.
And so I have friends that have told me a story about they knew somebody before, knowing me, that had the
Mhm.
same kind of thing happen to them, and they couldn't handle it, and they unalived themselves. And I just,
Oh
that
man,
thought never crossed my mind. But
yeah,
that's just the type of person I am. I'm like, no, but I want to say, anybody that may watch this, I don't care if it's 20 years from now. Yeah, you can keep going. You can.
yep, yep,
It's going to be hard. It's going to fucking hurt, but you can do it.
yep,
If
yep,
I can do it, if Amy can do it, if several of our other
yep,
friends we've had on here can do it, you can do it.
yep. It is not the end. Like you're still here, and like there are so many ways that you can adapt and live a happy life.
Especially with the technology these days. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it in 1900, it would have been a lot harder. I mean, I think I still could have done it, but the technology for amputations wasn't there. The technology for prosthetics wasn't there. You sure as fuck didn't have
Mm.
YouTube. One of the first things I did was come on YouTube when I found out what was going to happen and be like, oh, who else is out
Yep.
there? What can I learn from
Yep.
them? And
Yep.
that's how I
I did the
found
same
Footless
thing.
Joe and a couple other ones.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and that's why when Amy and I talked about doing this interview, I was like, oh, that's great. Because one of the first things, and she's like, that's why I wanted to do this interview. Get more
Yep.
people out there that have had this experience and know
Yep.
what it's like, and then can maybe just tell somebody, yeah, it's going to suck, it's going to hurt, but just keep going. You'll get it.
Yep. Because I was very fortunate enough in my circumstance that I was in a ward with a bunch of other amputees. So like I didn't necessarily go through it all alone. I had, other people going through the exact same
Yeah.
thing that could relate to me. We could relate to each other. And like I don't know, just, many people don't get that. And I also had like this support group. They just sent me a Christmas card the other day. They send me a birthday card every year too. It's the amputees family support group here in the area that I live in, and they sent somebody out to the hospital before my surgery to come talk to me, to tell me that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You can get through this and you can still live a happy life. And like that meant so much to me, and I'm fully aware that not everybody has access to that. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
would like
'cause
to use
I
my
didn't get that
platform.
beforehand.
Yeah, so I definitely want to use my platform here to give a voice to other amputees so we can help other people experiencing limb loss, or, maybe family members of people experiencing limb loss. Whoever, whoever can benefit from this. You're why I'm here.
Well, and that's so I didn't get it beforehand, but I will say, I mean, because once I realized what was going to happen, I'm like, I'm going to get through it. I got this.
Hmm.
Was two days after I had the amputation, they had a guy come in that was going to be talking to me about prosthetics and stuff. And so he
Hmm.
comes in, he does his whole spiel and everything. I'm like, oh, I didn't know about all this stuff. That's really cool. And he revealed to me then at that point that he was an amputee. And he walked in like Joe Blow, normal, no limp, no nothing. And I'm thinking,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna have a
Right.
limp my whole life. And
Yep.
that was kind of like his way of like, oh, this is what we do. Oh, by the way. And I was like,
Yeah.
me and my wife were shocked. We were like, wait, you're what?
Yeah.
And then when I went to go meet with the actual prosthetic people for the first time, and lady walks in, and blah blah blah. And, oh, by the way, I'm a son of a bitch. You are too. Walked in normal, like no problem, and
Yeah.
like you couldn't tell at all. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
that just makes it even that much better. Because at some point, because like right now, I still have a limp, especially if I walk too long.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But eventually, I'll get there. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
What's up,
stuff
Wanda?
like that can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Um.
Can I just point out real quick though that Mando said as much shit as he gives me, he does love me. Could somebody take a screenshot of that for me? And anyway,
I'm just I'm scrolling through here, find all the questions. I think the first one here was from Mrs. T. She was wondering about the weightlifting, I believe. When you weightlift, does that cause the leg to push into your skin?
no, it does not. However, with a certain caveat is the fact that again, my leg still hurts every day. So it's still in its adjustment period, which is one thing actually I meant to bring up that I hadn't yet because I didn't know before this happened was the fact that when you lose a limb, you get what's called a temporary leg, which is what I have now. And it's generally from 6 months to a year, you get a permanent leg, which again will only last a couple of years. But your leg,
Yep.
especially in the leg, is what I can speak of. Your leg changes so much in that first 6 months to a year, shrinking. Even no matter how much you work it out, no matter what you do, it does shrink. That you'll have to get a new leg again. So I'm still in my current temporary leg. So my leg is still changing every day. Every day I'm having to adjust what we have. They're called socks, and they're what you would imagine. So when you put a fake leg on, I'd imagine the same with an arm. You put on what's known as a sleeve, and it's like the silicone, thing, and it goes up and it covers your leg so that your skin's not just sitting inside your stomach or inside your prosthetic. And as the leg changes, they have what are called socks, and they have, from what I've seen, they have 5-ply, 3-ply, and 1-ply. And you have depending on the person how your legs change, you have different socks that you have to put on. So like yesterday, I was wearing 12-ply or 11-ply, which is 11 plies worth. And then today I tried out 12-ply, and it's not quite there yet because yesterday wasn't super comfortable, but today was worse, so I had to switch back when I got home. But in 2 or 3 days, I'll probably be up to 12-ply. Or it might go back down to 10-ply. I mean, it just, I'm playing with it every day because my leg is changing so much. And what happens is the leg changes, like certain spots of the leg change, but not the entire leg, but the sock takes up the entire volume. So it takes up the whole volume. You're like, well, shit, that hurts even worse because now this spot's pressing, and then the other ones work so bad that I can live with them being that way for a while. So it doesn't ever necessarily press into the skin, but there, like when I did the 850, like I could feel there was quite a bit of pressure that's not normally there, which is why I only did the reps that I did and just called it good because I didn't want to push myself too far. Yeah. And like my all of 120-pound partner at work was working out, and he was like, something happens, I can't help you. I was like, well, you can call somebody, but yeah.
Anyway. Wendy asked, do you still get phantom toe cramps or itches?
Oh, I get itches all the time. Like even when I take the leg and the sleeve and everything off, and it's just the stump and everything, and I'm scratching, and I'm like, oh, I can't get it because it thinks that it's further up, but it's really not. But yeah.
Have you ever tried itching your? Have you ever tried itching the foot you have?
No, that's not the one that
try it. I know, but try.
It'd be a parasympathetic response.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Damn, why
sometimes it works.
Think of that?
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But yeah.
Yeah, I never even thought of that.
Yeah, and I think we touched on this a little bit with the mirror therapy.
Yeah, I do want to look into that at some point. I mean, it has gotten better. It's not as bad as when it first happened. So, but we'll see. It could happen for the rest of my life. I could stop doing it tomorrow. I mean, that's just the thing with your nervous system and your nerves and stuff. It's weird shit. But I think you know the answer to that, Mando. That'll be the only answer you'll get of any of your questions.
Yeah, and like Mr. Amped says, mirror therapy can work, but it's not 100% effective for all. Let's see. I don't know if you saw that, but that's very sweet.
Didn't have to show that to me. I didn't cry, y'all. Okay, I almost cried.
Holy said thank you for opening up. Wendy wants to know, have our relationships or marriages gotten stronger since our amputations? I'll let you
So,
go first.
so I'll let. I was gonna say, obviously, I'll let Amy speak of her own relationship. I will say that I think it's awesome what happened with Amy's relationship when I know about it, because my relationship, my wife and I had been together for 12 years and married for almost 11 at this point. From
Mm-hmm.
what I know of Amy, y'all weren't together all that long, but my marriage has only gotten stronger. I mean, we've always had a really strong marriage, really great marriage, and just
Mm-hmm.
her, because it went from me making dinner every day because I love to cook to
Mm-hmm.
her doing everything. She's taking out the trash, she's making dinner, she's keeping the house, she's doing the
Yeah.
laundry, and the kids
Yeah.
aren't much help because kids are kids and they whine and bitch no matter what you ask them. But
Right.
that was the biggest thing, was the fact she had to take over cooking duties, adding on to doing the laundry, which she generally did the laundry. I mean, I do it here and there, but she generally does it or did it. And then now she's got to do the laundry on top of taking the kids to school, and I mean, yeah, she's a stay at home mom, which is amazing. I'm not talking any shit about that. So she should be used to it, as some people say, but that's not how a real relationship works in my opinion. We all
Mm.
do our parts, and there's stuff
Yeah.
we do together and stuff. But she had to take over
Yep.
all of it, and she did it amazing for 6 months. And even afterwards, when I was, I'll just put a chair in there and I can cook. And are you sure? Yeah, I can cook. And then 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, I can't do this no more. Like, all right,
Yeah.
here I come. But
Yeah.
but yeah, my wife was amazing and did amazing, taking me to all my appointments and stuff. And my wife did great,
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say I have a pretty incredible partner myself. Like like Harley was saying, my amputation happened in our first year of marriage. And prior to us being married, we were long distance. So like we never like lived together or anything. Like he came and visited me for like a month, and that was us, trying things out to see if we were gonna make it, because we were long distance for like 5 years before we ever met in person. Um and the second time he came to see me, he proposed and we got married, and I came back with him, and I've been here ever since. Um and yeah,
Best
one
decision he
year
ever
into
made.
it.
Sorry.
But yeah, one year into it, I ended up losing my leg, and I mean, that man, he saw me using a bedpan. Like he's seen me at the lowest of my low, like at death's door. Like he's and he's been amazing through it all. He was my biggest cheerleader. He would always tell me how great I was doing and how beautiful I still am, and he is
My wife
not
never told
once
me I was beautiful. Sorry.
he has never once like made me feel like I am any kind of less than because I'm now, missing part of my leg. It's never bothered him at all. I mean, he, obviously he was scared and worried for me, before the surgery, especially because it happened during COVID and he couldn't come in a lot of the time. So yeah, it was definitely very scary, but no, he was incredible throughout all of it, and he always says, I just did what anyone would do, and that's not the case.
That's not the case at
he
all.
no, he went above and beyond what most people would do. Um, and that's why I moved across the world for him. He's special. I knew that.
Apparently, Holy and
Uh,
Wendy think I'm beautiful as well. So just throwing that out there.
yeah, you are. Let's see. Christy says, "How long after you lost the toe did they take the rest, and which toe did they take?"
So they took the third toe on the left foot in September. I don't remember the exact date. It was, I think, I want to say the second week of September, and then December 15th of last year. So right around 2 months after they took the toe, they took the foot. But yeah. So for those that weren't here and didn't catch it earlier, today is the 1 year of me losing my leg. I had the surgery
Yep.
exactly 1 year ago today.
1 year
Period itself has
anniversary.
followers. What Johnny say? Sound like Kirby. I like that too. Anyway. What other questions we got? We gotta wrap it up here pretty soon because I'm supposed to be going live here soon, and B, I got fucking pissed.
Oh, hey, Elena. Good to see you. Let's see. Mel. Harley, when they told you to amputate your leg, did you just tell him get her done?
Well,
He's
of
not
course.
Southern.
Get her done. That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on, I gotta highlight me. Oh shit! I answered one of Mel's questions, and that's why his questions weren't getting answered.
Yeah.
That's the question I answered. He knows why.
Yeah.
What's up, son, honey? Sorry, y'all. I didn't pay attention to chat through most of this just because I was thinking and remembering
Yes,
stuff.
no.
He's honorary.
Mr. Amped. Mr. Amped is my husband, Dan.
Anybody else got any questions they want to throw out? And I mean, obviously, feel free to come over if you guys want to hang out in my live stream, which is going to go live next. Shameless plug. You can still ask questions about this type of stuff. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's not like we're limited just to Amy's stream. We can only educate on Amy's stream now.
Yeah. But yeah, here's your last chance on my stream, though. If anybody has any last minute questions, seriously, don't be afraid. Like, if you want to ask how we shower, ask. You know, if you want to know, I don't know, do we buy one shoe or two? You know, whatever you want to know.
Fucking Mando.
Oh my god. No.
That is more of a HarLeeDad question there, Mando, just so you know, for a HarLeeDad stream, not here at Sweet Little Amy's. But
yeah, we'll let him answer that one.
So Holy Mirror therapy is, I haven't looked a ton into it, I've looked some into it though. But have you ever seen those pranks where they put, your right hand here and your left hand here and there's a mirror, so it's not really your hand, it's a fake hand? And then they're like messing with your right hand, and then they take out a hammer and smash the fake other hand, but you freak out, or the people freak out because they think it's their hand, because that's kind of what mirror therapy is. Obviously, they don't smash you with a fucking hammer, but they work on getting you to realize that, it's kind of complicated to explain. But, and again, I'm not an expert on it. I've just looked up some stuff on it, so.
Yeah, you should. You should, everyone. This is my brother, my big bro. Let's see. Amy, I have a question. So when do you do things like already things like shower, food? How do you? For me personally, I haven't been using a prosthetic a lot lately because just for funding reasons, it's getting sorted. So I'm usually in my wheelchair at home. It's also a comfort thing. Like, I don't know. I'm not the type of person that sits around at home with shoes on. When I come home, I take my bra off. I take my bra off,
but I leave my shoes
on. Pants, all that crap comes off, and that includes my prosthetics. So, around the house, what I do if I'm in the kitchen, I actually put my stump up on the counter, and I can stand there indefinitely. As far as the shower goes, I use a shower chair.
As do I. I did discover when I went on my trip to Tacoma, I will be installing a handle in my shower, though, because when I went to Tacoma a couple weeks ago for work was the first time in almost a year I had stood up in the shower, and it was fucking phenomenal. And so
you can also, if you have that handle, keep your shower chair, though, because then you can put your knee on the shower chair just for added stability in case you slip,
Yeah, that's what I did, because I have so when this all happened, I borrowed my mom's shower chair because she'd broken her hip shortly before me, and so when she didn't need it, I needed it, and so I used that until we bought one that it sits in and out of the tub, and you sit down and you slide in. So that's what I have here. But then at a yard sale, I bought a $3 little travel one, and that's why I took them to Tacoma. So I still had the shower chair there, and yeah, I used it and the combination of the handle, obviously, and it was amazing. And then one thing that when I get my new leg, I was told is I can then use this leg to stand 2-footed in the shower. Obviously, I will need to clean the stump too, as well, of course. But so I'm thinking about doing that too. Excuse me. It's no fear here. What's up, no fear?
Yeah, they just subbed. Which, by the way, thank you. Appreciate that sub.
No fear is awesome. No fear is a truck driver. He likes to pop in. He's got a lot of late nights where he just listens, but he lurks a lot.
My dad
driving and stuff like that.
My dad was a truck driver for like 30 plus years. Wendy wants to know how many times did we fall off the toilets at first?
I have never fallen off the toilet, knock on wood, so far.
Yeah, same. What I do, I stand up and then I like put my stump behind me to like feel for the toilet seat, and I'm like, yep, it's right there, and then I sit.
What's up, DPR? Good to see you, brother. All right, well, I think we're gonna have to wrap this up because again, I got pee, and then I gotta get mine going here in a couple minutes. But thank you for the opportunity coming up here and telling my story and reaching people that didn't know my story, because I know everybody that knows me knows it to death by now. But I appreciate it, and I hope that this helps anybody. Anybody that's having any doubts or needs any wisdom or inspiration. Not that I'm great wisdom and inspiration, just as somebody that's gone through it, like you can get through it too. It's gonna fucking suck. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna have to grit your teeth. It's gonna suck, but you can do it.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And thank you so much for, like I said, feeling comfortable enough with me and coming up on my platform and sharing your story and being vulnerable with us. Like it really means the world to me. I appreciate it. And I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank each and every one of you in the chat for coming here and supporting me as you always do. And thank you for all the support you're giving HarLeeDad. If you want to go check him out and you haven't already, I have his link pinned at the top of the chat. So go check him out. He's about to go live here in just a little bit. And we're going to party up to celebrate his 1-year ampuversary. So yeah, I'm going to play my outro and shut this down. But yeah, one more time.
Hit the like button.
Thank you again, Harley.
Thank you.
All right. See y'all.